Hey, everybody. We are now live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform where most certainly all wrestling matters, and I guess now all King's X matters. But boy, does our guest have plenty to say here tonight. And he's going to talk about what's been going on with him. I was expecting some wins. I was expecting some other things here in the agenda. He'll talk about maybe some reasons why or why not he wasn't in the W column. But I think we'll get back on track because our guest is going to be wrestling back-to-back nights. Boy, maybe he is getting ready for a tour. He's going to talk about that. He's also going to talk about what's next in Express Wrestling, plus who knows whatever else. Ladies and gentlemen, since after all, you want it, he wants it. Since I got a surprise for him, he doesn't even know about it. I'm going to give him a surprise because, he's always coming here, with ladies and gentlemen, angels and demons, doing his whole spiel. And I got something for him later because, after all these big people come on here and they get something. And our guest has been here. I think it's been like 5 or 6 months in a row. So I got to give you something here for a change. So we're going to certainly get the party started and start the week off here in style on Sportzwire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the platform that our guest in Express Wrestling most certainly helped build to get us to those not one, not two, but 3 historical moments. Rhino, the Man Beast, the War Machine, Savio Vega, the man some would say was responsible for the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and King's X bassist Doug Pinnick, which apparently the heavy metal equivalent of Rolling Stone has been talking about, blabbermouth.net. But enough about all that. It's time to give our guest that introduction and get the show here off in style on Sportswire Radio. So with that, wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report. #1 global sports show. A man that needs no introduction, but he'll get it anyway. Because, ladies and gentlemen, angels and demons, his name is simply put, the gentleman of exquisite caliber, Godrick Sandwell. My friend, how are we doing?
Once again, gallant as always after such a magnificent introduction. How about you, sir?
Well, ask my voice afterwards, but then again, at this point, it's the old routine, and I'm doing great. It's a Monday, and you're here. Usually you're here on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but you've been a busy man, and we got some stuff to talk about, and it's good to be with you here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform where most certainly all wrestling matters and all King's X matters, and what's going on here, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about tonight.
Indeed, it is an honor to be here, as always. And for everybody watching, how do you do? Because, ladies and gentlemen, angels and demons, Nephilim and Cambion, it is the gentleman of exquisite caliber in your midst.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. You have some shows upcoming. I think we'll promote that, let's say, toward the middle to the end of the show. You're actually doing a back-to-back, although you did a back-to-back last time you were here with us, but I think you're staying a little more local, at least I think. But then again, maybe not. Certainly the car will pick up some miles, but let's put up here a couple things to talk about. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, you, Godrick Sandwell, on Sportswire Radio, the platform you most certainly helped build. I got 3 matches to talk with you on, and usually you come on here, you at least win 1 match or sometimes 2 or 3 matches. But what happened here this last month, sir? Because you unfortunately won an offer here. You certainly rivaled the Buffalo Bills, the San Francisco 49ers, and what happened here in these last few weeks as to why you came up on the short end of the stick for the Angels and Demons watching right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how things go sometimes. You can't win every single one of them. There is, to put it very mildly, there is some stiff competition out there. It's hard to stay on top of everything.
Hit stiffly a few times. Were you given, to quote ACDC, a stiff upper lip a few times? I know one of the matches, I'm sure it looked like you might have had one, but tell us here or what?
Well, I mean, there's really not much to say. A couple of ruffians got the better of me, a handful of ne'er-do-wells, but I'm looking forward to getting back on the road and doing what I do best and getting back in that W column for sure.
So how do we then use, you have a back-to-back coming up. You have Express Wrestling coming up on the 15th. So how do we use what happened the last few weeks to get you back on track before I put up one of your matches?
Well, they say to be humble in victory and to learn from your defeats. So anytime I get a match that maybe things don't go the way that I had originally planned, perhaps study the film back and learn what exactly it was that didn't exactly go according to plan, what did go according to plan, and put a better game plan together going in.
It's just simple as that. Just you want to watch the tape of a match you lost. I mean, some people that come on here like, no, I want to forget about it. I don't even want to think about it. I would put it in the back of my mind. It's almost like, I see my mother here. When I was a kid, I'm sure I did a lot of bad things, but I'm here right now. I mean, so apparently some people might like me, but I would do a lot of things, well, we're joking around. You got to have a sense of humor, but something would happen, whether it would be, you fail a test or maybe, you had a bad game playing sports or whatever it was. You want to put it in the back of your mind. For you, it's not that way. You want to go out and watch the tape, and why then that route?
Well, as I said before, you should be gracious in victory, and obviously, please be humble in defeat as well. If we can't learn from our mistakes, then we can't move forward. We cannot evolve past who we are at this present moment. So, even looking at the victories, which of course, I mean, that makes me a little bit more jubilant, of course. But unfortunately, you will fall from time to time. It's just the question is, where do you go from there? Where do you make your adjustments?
Sure. Well, you have some adjustments to make. You have a guest here that you wrestled not too long ago, which is a great segue, because I'm going to actually put up the footage of that match, and we'll get a chance to talk about it. And well, I'm sure get your opponent's opinion of it, because he's here right now in the chat. Now,
okay.
Yep. You'll definitely see. You'll be a nice surprise. And if you're here on Sportzwire Radio, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the sub button for us. And we're here with Godrick Sandwell, ladies and gentlemen, angels and demons. So I'm going to put this match up on the screen. I'm going to take this. I'm going to go like that. I'm going to go here. And we're going to go like right there, because I have a magic power that, not to quote Triumph, I know my mother's.
Uh-oh, did we lose you, Reverend? Did you hit mute? Oh. Uh-oh.
Do you hear me now? Do you hear me
now? Okay, yeah, we're good now.
Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm going to try it back up here. Technology is a funny thing.
Technology is a tip indeed. Yes, I see it now.
Excellent. Okay, now you remember this coming up here? This was one of your most recent matches. And
yes, I do.
That's in the chat, Mr. Big Rig. And you're in a different environment, and it's a different setting. And let's talk about it here for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and especially since Big Rig is here for the first time. Tell us why we're having this match.
Well, Mr. Big Rig, how do you do?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh, let's see. There we go. How about now?
No, I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Technology, it's a pip, I swear.
I'm gonna okay. Let me take this off the screen for a minute. Maybe that's the problem, and I'll put it right back up. Can you hear me now?
I'm good on my end,
but I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
All
Yeah, I
right,
don't hear you.
what is going on here?
I don't, let me log back in the chat. I'm going to come back in and come back out. So I'll let him come in. I can't hear Godrick. Oh, okay. I can't hear him though. Unfortunately, I can't hear him. So I'm going to let him come in and I'm going to come right back out because I think it's a problem with my mic. So I'm going to fix that and I'm going to come right back into the chat. So give us like 60 seconds. He'll come right back in. So I'm sure that's going to be the issue. In the meantime, if you're here, I do want to talk about the match that Big Rick and Godrick Sandwell just had. Okay. Do you talk into the mic?
All right, can you hear me now?
Much better. Okay. Now I heard you. Okay. You know what? That's the magic of technology. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I can put this back up on the screen. Okay.
All right.
Can everybody now hear the both of us?
Are we good here?
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear the both of us? I have Ed and Bidrig and Zilla in here. Can you hear the both of us? Well, you're not going to hear the match, but you'll hear both of us. But I'll wait for that. And okay, good, excellent. All right, so there we go. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties do happen.
It
So
happens,
tell us
yeah.
what. We can hear you, and you can hear me as well, Zilla. But in the meantime, tell us what we can expect here and why we're having this match.
Well, as I was saying before, technology decided to become a pip. I swear to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Mr. Big Rig, first of all, how do you do since you're in the chat from what I'm understanding right now?
Yep, he's here.
Secondly, mm-hmm. And secondly, he issued an open challenge that anybody from anywhere could answer. And of course, yours truly took one look at that Legacy Championship that he's wearing and said to himself, well, that would look mighty good in my study. And well, I had to take my attempt at it. Unfortunately, well, I'm not going to try to spoil too much, but it is a new place for me. Top Notch Wrestling Alliance over in New Haven, West Virginia. I
Yep.
mistook the city a couple of times, but well, I was trying to do them a little bit of a favor. Maybe try to
How
get them
far from
somewhere.
Appalachia, by the way? Because we have a frequent participant that comes here from Appalachia. You're not that far from there, I think, right? Appalachia, Top Notch
Let
Wrestling. It sounds familiar. It definitely sounds familiar.
me
But
think here.
you're here in a new environment while you look that up,
Mhm.
and you're coming across a little different here, Godrick Sandwell. And I may ask a little why.
Well, I don't know. It seemed like the audience didn't take too kindly to myself and obviously the company that I kept with me and one Michael McMoney.
Well, apparently he was full of money and he was trying to cash a check that he was hoping that he would be able to cash off the back of Big Rig and that legacy championship that he has there.
Well, uh, as I'm sure you notice, we're trying to keep things in as something of order as humanly possible, but that didn't really work in our favor. But that's quite all right. I'm just trying to talk a little bit of sense, a little bit of decorum to the current audience, and as I'm sure you can tell, it does not go over as intended.
Now, let me ask you though this question because it's a different environment. You're certainly getting treated differently. So how do you go into a match like this? I have you on here. Usually it's about Wrestling Express or it was PWX when it was that, and maybe we'll get you into another place, Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots. It's usually the same place. Although we had the Tennessee run in January that we talked about, but usually you're in familiar territory, so you're in a different environment against a different opponent. How do you prepare?
Well, thankfully, I was able to do a little bit of a study on one Mr. Big Rig to get, how would you say, a little bit of a flavor for how this gentleman operates. Now, unfortunately for me being the smaller of the competitors in this particular exchange, obviously I'm going to have to use a little bit more speed to counter his power. But, well, as I said before, I don't want to spoil too much.
But that's certainly a place you're in a lot. You're wrestling bigger guys. So, in a sense, maybe because you've wrestled similar opponents, that's going to help you in ultimately what you want to intend to do, which is to win the Legacy Championship.
Indeed. I was hoping some of that experience that I've had in the past would be a nice blueprint. Pardoning the pun on my jacket, by the way. But
Which my mother liked your jacket, by the way. She liked it.
oh, thank you. You are too kind.
Yeah, well, she may not be too kind by not hearing my volume for a few minutes, but okay. So be that as it may, you're certainly coming across differently here, and I'm going to put the volume up and see why, so those that are watching here can figure it out, because I'm not used to this, Godrick.
I do remember this. There was a fan that was giving me absolute madness all night.
So what happened here? Was this like legit? Or this was a legit fan that really didn't like you?
Evidently, I'm not sure if I said something previous. I don't know if we've encountered each other previous, or maybe it's just my dapper dress that throws one
Has
off.
this
But
happened to you? I mean, you could answer it any way you want, but we just had an incident in the IMF where a fan actually went into the ring and broke up a pin in a match between Ox McCoy and Nicholas Crenson, and it was not planned, and that was obviously dealt with in an according way. I've heard how that person was dealt with. I'm not going to repeat it here, especially who's come on this platform. But in your career, has that happened before, where fans all of a sudden decide that they want to just be a part of whatever you're doing? And has that happened to you?
outside of this particular incident, not that I have personally witnessed, I do understand that some crowds can get a little bit more passionate, shall we say? And well, again, I don't know if I said something. I don't know if I did something. I don't know if it was the jacket. I don't know if it was a proposition that I had to turn down, fortunately, but one way
Yeah,
or another.
I'll leave that to you and Mama Patterson here, according to Big Rick. I'll leave that to you two.
Indeed, it's probably going to be a little bit better that way.
Yeah, I
But
would prefer to do that again, considering we've just had on King's X's Doug Pinnock, Rhino, and Savio Vega here. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that at that. But okay, so that's past you, and now
mhm.
you get ready to face your opponent, and he's a big guy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yes, he
You're going
is.
here, and what are you doing to the referee? This is un-Godrick Sandwell like here. I'm used to seeing you in PWX or Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots in a usual certain way, and this is not the Godrick Sandwell. I thought I knew you these last 5 months.
Well, even a gentleman is capable of more dastardly deeds should the time call for it. But all I was doing there was just making sure the referee was, as you would say, on the up and up. After all, as you pointed out, I'm in a new territory, and well, you can't be too careful, especially these days. Especially when the some of the fans prove themselves to be quite ruffian with yours truly.
Well, we're seeing it now live, and we are watching it for the Legacy Championship in Top Notch Wrestling. And
Mm.
also, shout out to Big Ray. We're going to put up his YouTube handle here in a few minutes. And I just gave you 2 subs. You'll get a third when I'm off there because I own 3 YouTube accounts. But you're going to have to forget all about that. And clearly, you're trying some psychology because you're waiting to lock up with him. And he just pushes you right back down.
I did say that I was the smaller man in this exchange, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say no, but yeah, pretty much.
No, you may be honest. It may not have been my wisest strategy to try to lock horns with somebody who's, to be very nice, quite gargantuan.
So could you have approached this differently, or this was the way you wanted to start the match off? Try to get into his head, try a lock up, size him up, and then maybe see if you could work some of your technical skills, agility in the ring, and see if you could wear him down a little bit.
Now that was the hope, anyways. Whether or
Well,
not,
I mean, I've watched the match already, but there are some people that may have not. So we'll give them that opportunity to see. But I would think that would have been your plan going into it.
Well, one would think, and well, as now you can see, now I can move around the much larger opponent and show him what Godrick Sandwell can do best.
Well, you're certainly doing that here, and you are trying to wear him down. I would think in a match like this, you would want to have a longer match because that would wear down your opponent because you're obviously looking at a size disadvantage, but you've probably got the speed and quickness that Big Rig doesn't. So you're hoping for maybe a longer match, tire him out, and that's where maybe you could pull one over and win that legacy championship.
Yeah. The longer it goes, the more the stamina advantage would kick in. But well, Big Rig is no pushover. I assure you, quite figuratively and literally.
Well, I mean, okay, you'll have to figure that out. But boy, I mean, I just watched that splash just there, and
Oh,
that's powerful. That's a powerful splash. That's no Andrew Lovelace and Max Hammer splash. Splash.
it is not. I don't miss having that hammer anywhere near me. It does make me a little bit nervous now that you're mentioning it.
Well, it will be eventually Hammer time back on Sportswire. It'll eventually happen again. So I'm sure that we'll have the two of them on. And Andrew, we are certainly given our thoughts and prayers to him. I know his mom's been going through some health issues, so we'll certainly keep them both in our thoughts. But in the meantime, we're keeping you in our thoughts, sir, because Big Reg is just, I mean, he doesn't have to do much so far. I mean, but you got him here and you got him down a little bit, and you're working on him, and you got some offense now in it.
Yeah, fun. Now that I could get the big guy to get out of his own way and get me out of the way, as a matter of fact, now it's time for some more
And there it
dastardly.
is. We see some, more involvement here.
Oh, I
What is
had
going
nothing to
on
do
there?
with that.
Is that your manager for the night? That's certainly, I mean, going out there and he's showing why he's full of money.
And he did make a wise investment, wanting to be my manager for the evening. And if the opportunity to work with him actually as a tag team at some point would come up, I would relish that opportunity as well.
Well, yeah, bad boys, yeah, definitely. And continuing here, I mean, to work on Big Rig, and Big Rig is definitely, well, he's grasping for air, and it's giving you an advantage, and you go right back to the referee and see if you can work more further on Big Rig and try to get him down.
Hmm. A gentleman must do what a gentleman must do sometimes. And
Well, it's a
well,
legacy championship. It's a lot on the line, and it's something you want gold again. Since losing the Three Rivers Championship in PWX, you are looking for gold.
yeah, the Three Rivers Championship. How I miss it.
Well,
I really do.
we'll get to Wrestling Express next. We'll most certainly get to that next. We'll certainly talk about that. But obviously, here you got a nice little neck breaker there, or maybe a jaw breaker almost, rather instead. And that was a nice move. And you got your opponent down really for the first time in the match. For the first time, you got him down.
Mm-hmm.
Even got a
So
count on. You got a little bit of momentum right now.
mm-hmm. That would have been a neck breaker,
Oh.
just for it. But yeah, that's something I do prefer to use, and especially in such situations.
Well, I mean, you've got the advantage. I mean, you're known more for your technical skills, and you have that ability to try to get Big Rig down. That's a good way to do it. But Big Rig is back up, and Big Rig is most certainly trying to get you back to where he was prior. And he was looking for the splash, but this time you read it well, and you caught him back up. You're going, it looks like, into the high rent district, and you're going to see if you could work on some offense of your own right. And really nice move there. What was that? What was exactly that? There was that some form of I don't know, almost of a Frankensteiner or some sort, or what would you call that?
No, if you trace your history back a little bit, there was a gentleman called Buff Bagwell
Yeah,
who
I know Buff
who used
Bagwell.
that.
That was the
Mhm.
blockbuster then, right?
That is correct.
All right. Uh,
I learned how to do it along my pilgrimage, and I was told that I do it quite well. So that's like, well, I think a gentleman can do well.
well, you certainly hit the blockbuster, but the blockbuster wasn't enough to keep Big Rig down fully, and Big Rig gets back up. Boy, this guy is just he's a behemoth. I mean, he's literally a behemoth. He's just working you, and I mean, you got to find a way to get this man down, and it's not easy.
Yeah. And I assure you that Big Rig, as much as it pains me to say, it pains me to watch this, but they don't call him Big Rig for no reason. He's
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see why. He's a big man. I mean, he's
and
a big
he's
man.
and he's
He's working on some elbows there a little bit, but boy, that was a nice little move there he had.
yeah, I'm still recovering from that Samoan drop, by the way.
But you got out though. You kicked out just at 2 and like 3/4, so you were able to at least continue the match. But certainly, Big Rig is showing why he's Big Rig.
Yep, he's certainly a tough customer. Also a fantastic truck driver, from what I understand. And that's all. And I have to give due here. I have to give due. I do thank him for the clothes that I wear, for the food that's on my table, the steak dinner, of course. I'm sure he had a hand in delivering that as well.
Yes, that's actually true. That is all true. That truck drivers do deliver food, and they're a huge part of that. But right now, he's delivering some, big blows to you. Let's just say some big offensive blows, kind of like a truck driver would, with a truck barreling into a parking lot to deliver those items that you might enjoy. But Big Rig is certainly working on them and working on you, and you're gonna have to figure out something. But another move there, and
Oh, my
hey,
chiropractor loved me after that one.
well, yeah, he'd love you, but you wouldn't love what's happening to your back there right now because your back is getting broken there almost. You might want to call him Bane rather than Big Rig. And we saw what Bane did to Batman in the comic books, but you're going. And yeah, that was just, I mean, he threw you like it was nothing there.
Oh man, what was the term that they use for that particular instance? I believe it was nightfall, if my memory serves.
Well, you are falling figuratively like somebody's knife foot onto the table, and yeah, he's you know, it looks like I think you got your foot on the rope. Does it look like right? You kicked out, or your foot was on the rope. It was either one or the other. It looks like here. As a camera angle was a little bit difficult to see, but the match continues,
Yeah, my
and
foot did reach the rope, and
that's what I thought originally. That's what I thought.
yeah, and it looks like a wise man helping out another wise
But
gentleman.
now he's taking off his shirt. Now he's taking off his shirt. He's taking down his straps, and he's getting mad. He's getting mad. He's getting mad like a truck driver would waiting for a light in the middle of nowhere at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're expecting to go 80 miles an hour, and he's going to definitely do that. But you do find a way to get him down, and him turning his back behind you certainly gave him that opportunity to get hit with your own offense. And you're going to do some more of that now, and that's what you're going to continue to do here. You're going to try to get him down, and it's about to work. And Big Rig is going to fall
One
like
more, yeah. Oh,
yeah, couldn't.
oh, I do not miss that big grasp.
That was thrown in there. Yeah, that was definitely a Rocky IV moment. But yeah, I would have threw in the towel there too, because you were definitely going to probably be still on a hospital bed somewhere. You're going to certainly be in who knows where still. So if he didn't throw in the towel, let's just say you would have to be lying on a towel still to this day. And that was two plus weeks ago. But Big Rig
Mm-hmm.
retained the championship, and he is your legacy champion for a reason. Congratulations to Big Rig. Maybe we'll get him one day onto Sportswire Radio and gets a victory, and you're sent packing more or less.
Indeed, I am. I do appreciate Mr. McMoney protecting his investment. Yes.
Well, he didn't really win anything off the investment. He didn't get a return off it because you're empty-handed with you didn't win that legacy championship, and Big Rig wins, and he may have assisted you in getting back to the dressing room, but his investment looks like it didn't pay off.
Yeah, unfortunately, tonight was not that particular night to pay our dividends, but the time will come. The time will come.
Well, we'll find out. We'll definitely find out. And obviously, Big Rig is talking. We'll let Big Rig speak.
Missed each and every single one of my fans. The guy in the ring with me, he runs our camera over there. This is actually my little brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, for you, it shouldn't be a clap. You didn't win, but I understand.
I do resonate.
My wife, my son, there's one here that you all cannot see. December 21st, just before Christmas. And as some of you have seen her around, she's sitting right back there. My family had to say goodbye to our biggest fan, our grandma. She used to come to these shows, support H and everything we did, including all the guys in the back. She didn't just love us, she loved them. She loved watching all you guys, especially the little kids. All the fun they have, cheering, booing. This match went out to her tonight.
Yeah, you weren't winning, Godrick. You weren't winning. Sorry, man. You weren't winning this one. You weren't winning. The highest power is against tonight. But obviously, heck of a match, and we thank Big Rig for allowing us to show the match. And if you'd like to follow Big Rig, because he is on YouTube now, he's got a YouTube channel, and he's got some subscribers. I'd like to give him an opportunity to get some more subscribers. So if you do that by going here to YouTube at big.rig50, yeah, big.rig50, you can join him, and as he puts up more matches and more content, follow him, and I'm sure he'll follow you back. And maybe we'll get Big Rig back onto Sportswire, and we'll have him talk about his career, and if that's something he wants to do. And he does want to thank you for the match, and it was a good match to watch. I do want to wish also Comatose an early happy birthday. His birthday is tomorrow, and he does want to say hello to everybody. Happy birthday, Comatose. He's turning 23. Why do I know that? Because his mom posted on Facebook. He's 23. He's turning 23.
You're making me feel old, Comatose, but a happy birthday to you as well, sir.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we don't think you're like 60 or 70, so I mean, you can't be that old. All right, well, if you say so, but happy birthday to Comatose. Comatose will be back on here on March 20th, but it is his birthday tomorrow. He'll be on here before that, but we want to wish him a happy birthday. Also, who else we got? Eddie Pizzo is here. Eddie is here. He wanted to say he's in the house. Zilla would like to say hello. How you doing, Zilla? My mother was here, but she left. Like I said, she was here for about 15 minutes, and she was here. But she did love.
Oh, how droll.
That's okay. It's all good. Big Rig called you one hell of an opponent. Yeah, unfortunately, what happened was when I went to put the match up on the screen, for whatever reason, my microphone got knocked out, and then it knocked out like everything else. So it happened. Difficulties. I'm working on a USB that needs to be replaced. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Eddie is here. Thank you. Yeah, definitely get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook at Tom Bryce, and maybe we'll get in touch. Love to connect with new people. And Eddie's here. All right, so we got that match in the books. I want to talk about current events in a few minutes. I do want to talk Wrestling Express. We have a show coming up. In the meantime, we'll put up the most recent match there in Wrestling Express. You had a tag match. It was actually a really good match, but unfortunately, yet again, the outcome wasn't what we hoped for, and I'm going to show it for the audience so they can figure out why that was the case. And Pretty Boy Smooth, unfortunately, wasn't smooth in helping you guys get a victory here in tag team action for those tag team championships in Wrestling Express. But let's put that link up here and go like this. And now we can put this up. Wrong button. Well, it is the right button. We're going to go take this off and go like that. I'm going to speed the match up because the entrances are a little long, and I don't have as much time. Oh, there we go. Yep. Okay. Can you see me now?
We got you.
Cool. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go like that. Oh, that's the wrong button. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
There
All
we
right,
go.
much better, right? Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it tells me I either need to delete space on my computer or get a new USB. But we're close here to match time, so talk about what we're seeing here.
Well, yours truly, partnering up with an old friend in Pretty Boy Smooth. I never thought I'd ever say those words, but I'm so glad I can. And we're taking on the JV team of one Dalton McKenzie, who, as I've mentioned before, has muscles in places that simply do not exist on my body.
Well, that might be most of us here watching right now.
Perhaps. And then and as much as this may sound strange, me saying this about an opponent, I get to meet the legendary Jack Vaughn.
Oh, Jack Vaughn. Yeah, I've heard Jack Vaughn's name before. Sure.
Yeah, again, nothing I ever thought I would ever do in my wildest dreams, but there I am.
All right, so then you're usually not in tag team action, and especially in Wrestling Express, but you're with an old friend.
Hmm.
And what's the game plan?
Well, first and foremost, the JV team decided to team up with my arch nemesis at the moment in one Jace Carr.
Yeah, which we've talked about in prior shows. Yep. Who took
Hmm.
that championship that you had so proudly.
Yeah, and well, I understand they wanted to bring the tag team championships back, and that was perfectly fine. Um, my first and foremost objective was to keep them away from these new era ne'er do wells, as I like to call them.
So how do you do that? How do you do that? I mean, Jack Vaughn's a seasoned guy, AEW, and I mean he's got the size. I mean, I know that's why you probably have, I would imagine, Pretty Boy Smooth here. But so how do you do that?
Um, honestly, once again, it's going to be I mean, as I'm sure everybody can see, I am quite literally the smallest competitor in the ring. Which, even looking at this now, it kind of makes me laugh a little
It
bit.
makes
But
Rick look like he was small.
Big Rig is not a small man by any stretch of the imagination.
But
But
these guys are in a whole figuratively and literally new level.
quite literally, yeah. You want to talk about a high rent district? That might be apropos for me.
You know what? It's funny you said that because yesterday we were talking in Manhattan, and somebody I know, the rent they were paying was literally the high rent district, $4,100 for the month. So this is literally the
Oh,
equivalent of 4,100 a month rent.
wow, 4,100
Yeah,
$100 for rent. Wow,
yeah.
that's a lot of steak dinners.
Well, yeah. Well, that's Manhattan for you, but you're wrestling to the equivalent of that. And but I mean, Pretty Boy Smooth. What should we know about him in your experiences with him?
Well, unfortunately, we kind of had to go our separate ways many years ago. It's just how things go. His life took him one way. I obviously went another, and it was just really good to see an old friend. It's see if we can dust off a little bit of old chemistry from all those years ago. And obviously, he's going to have a little bit more of a distinct power advantage closer to the JV team, whereas I'm going to be the more nimble of the competitors.
Now, in a guy like Jack Vaughn, this is a guy that's done a lot in his career. You're talking about a guy that's been in OVW, a guy that's wrestled. He's a legit name. He's a legit guy that you look him up and he's been places. So, does that make it easy for you to scout him, or it doesn't matter?
I mean, actually, now that you mention it, there was plenty of material for me to take a look at, try to strategize something of a
I mean,
game
he's a
plan.
real household name. You're talking about a guy, it's been around the game 20 years, a guy that's pretty much been everywhere.
And here comes a little chemistry right now. There it is.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Eh, and an ode to a dear friend, as I like to do these days. But unfortunately, that was only for one night. I hope to run into Pretty Boy Smooth again and again.
Well, I mean, right now you're running into Jack Vaughn, and yeah, he's definitely, as he calls himself,
Woo.
the last real professional wrestler. And Dalton McKenzie, well, he goes to the ground. And so, how different is Dalton wrestling versus Jack?
As I had mentioned before, wrestling Dalton is, well, that's going up against somebody with muscle in places I don't have.
Well, but you have to be able to compensate for that, and your abilities technically would be able to help you compensate for that.
And using my agility to get under a couple of his moves, some of his big paws, or he could just trip me, the little minx.
Well, yeah, I see that there.
I'm gonna
definitely
I'm,
see that.
I'm gonna remember that, Mr. McKenzie. Make no bones about that.
But yeah, I mean, I have to think that this is in size wise in your career, size and height has to be one of the biggest disadvantages in your career match wise you've been a part of.
How apropos to say that as well. I have had my fair share of tangles with the Blood Beast. Ugh.
Yeah.
That name still sent a shiver up my spine. It's not every day you can prepare for something like him, let alone these two individuals who are, as much as I hate saying this, they are quite the well-oiled machine together.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're a team they go everywhere. They go places. They're, professional wrestlers. They're the legitimate, not people that are weekend warriors. These are guys that, they've been in places. So yeah, they're going to be a well-oiled machine. And you and Pretty Boy Smooth really don't have any recent experience of any sorts, and you have to figure out how to combat that more or less.
Indeed, a little bit of an experience disadvantage, especially for yours truly. But well, I tried to get some advice on how to deal with this from Pretty Boy Smooth whenever I had a few moments to talk to him. And well, obviously, you can only do what you can do.
And what was his advice?
Um, Part of it was just simply survive.
Well, you can
That's
only
kind of a
survive
given.
as much as possible.
But as for the rest of it, well, obviously try to keep yourself as fresh as possible. Which unfortunately, that advice was a little bit more counterintuitive in this particular facet.
Let me ask you a question. And I don't. And we're here with Godrick Sandwell. I'm going to ask you in a way. You don't have to answer it in character, or you can answer it any way you want. In the locker room, having a guy like Jack Vaughn, who in a few weeks from now is going to wrestle Matt Cardona, were guys in the Wrestling Express locker room asking Jack Vaughn a lot of questions about what they need to do or what they should do? Was that something you experienced in the locker room, or did you ask Mr. Vaughn anything in particular?
Well, I did have a handful of moments to ask him a question or two. I don't want to
Yeah, I
get
mean,
too
don't tell us what exactly. Don't tell me what you asked him, but in a general term, right? This is a guy that's he may call himself the last real professional wrestler, but he's wrestling Matt Cardona in a few weeks, right? So you're getting somebody that's wrestling guys on a very, very high level. So I would think in a locker room like Wrestling Express that maybe guys in that locker room were talking to him about advice on doing things, whether it's coming out to the ring or whether it's how you went about a spot in a match or how your psychology was or whatever it might be. I'm not saying what he said to you or anybody else, but I would imagine in a locker room like yours that people were talking to him about certain things.
Yeah, I did see a few individuals go over and speak to him about a few things. Obviously, I'm not privy to what was said, but if there was a time to ask questions, to get advice, anything, it was perfect.
Oh, for sure. And there's no question that a guy like that, you're going to want to get that advice. But right now, unfortunately, Godrick, the only advice you need is to get to your tag team partner.
I will second that motion, and I will try my best to carry it out.
Well, you're trying, but obviously we still got to get there first. And you are watching here from Wrestling Express here, which was last weekend. You've got here Godrick, Sandwell, and Pretty Boy Smooth Wrestling, the renowned team of Jack Vaughn and Dalton McKenzie. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally. We're all wrestling. Look what he just does there just now. He drops you like it was nothing. I thought what Big Rig did to you was one thing, but Mr. Vaughn just didn't even blink.
Yeah. Both of these individuals are, well, Dalton McKenzie is, he's quite the powerhouse, I will say. Jack Vaughn is no slouch either, I promise.
Both of them, listen, they're, definitely that they're not. They're not any slouches. And, you see them also in a part of OVW, which is, again, the company run by Al Snow, I believe these days is the head trainer there. And it's a company with, a large resume. And Sam Adonis and, certainly a place that you see them on. And, again, you look at the most recent shows Jack Vaughn's been a part of. EC3 has been on them. And, but Missy Hyatt was on another one. And that's we could see that. But what happened there? What happened with you and Pretty Boy Smooth just there? The tag didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
one moment I saw him. The next moment he was checking himself. I was kind of
Well, he
wondering
was checking
myself.
himself, but I mean, didn't seem like he was getting to the tag.
Upon obviously reviewing the footage afterwards, I didn't quite realize that Mr. Vaughn was being a little bit more dastardly than I was expecting. So, well, good tag team wrestling. I'm going to give that to them for absolute certain.
Well, obviously, tag team wrestling, veteran skills, whatever it might be, you're certainly in a world of trouble right now.
World of Trouble doesn't seem to cover it all that well, as I'm about to get squished, or am I?
Well, no, you weren't, but that's okay. We're waiting for you to see if you can get that tag in one more time to Pretty Boy Smooth, and we'll see if we can get it. He got it.
There
Pretty
we
Boy
go.
Smooth comes in, and now the crowd is fighting him. Look at just what Pretty Boy. I mean, he's just going like this, and he knocks him down. He's a big man in his own right, and that was certainly clever. And it looks like it could be all she wrote there. He throws him like a sack of potatoes, and Jack Vaughn is no longer the last real professional there. Look at that. Just certainly savvy technique. And the champions are down and out. And Godrick's ready. And you're coming back in. You got that tag. And now this is good tag team wrestling in itself. And this is certainly clever. And boom. Boom. And there you go. 1, 2. Oh, you guys had him. You had him. Not quite.
Yeah. Yep. Now there's that little snake in the grass right there. The at that particular time, I know he still holds the belt in this particular frame here, but the former Three Rivers champion by this point,
Jace Carr. It's Jace
that's
Carr.
the one.
You were going back and you're distracted. You're distracted. You turn around and wait a minute. And we see Vaughn and Pretty Boy Smooth fighting to the back. And you're still talking to Jace Carr. And it's enough to cause you to do this to where you're down for the count. 1, 2, 3. Yet another heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
At the
And
hand
now
of Jace Carr.
officially.
Jace Carr cost you yet another one, and Dalton McKenzie gets the win, pins you, and as Jack Vaughn and Pretty Boy Smooth fight to the back, and we now see Jack Vaughn coming back. The champions reign supreme. You're thrown out of the ring, and the champions are they're happy, while the PWX Wrestling Express faithful they're not happy. They're not happy at all. Understandably so. And the champions reign supreme, and Jace Carr is happy, and you go ahead on the short end of the stick yet again.
Yeah. I remember.
Well, Well, I'm going to put the poster up here in a minute and ask, where do we go from here? Because I have a poster that I'd like to put up for the audience, which I'm going to do. I'm going to get your thoughts on this. And where do we go from here, especially with St. Patrick's Day coming up here? We're just two and a half weeks away from the next Wrestling Express show. And I'm going to tell you and what everybody else is thinking. And for those that are listening and watching as I get ready to put this up. And also, if you're here, go follow Wrestling Express on Facebook. Check them out for more information on buying tickets for the next show, because it will take place at the doors. 6:30 is when it'll open. Bell time 7 o'clock. You'll see it on the poster, but let's put it up here for those that are listening and watching here on Sportzwire. I have the poster right here in front of me. So here we go. And you're going to tell me what's next. And there we go. There we go. So you have a show here coming up. You're going to be a part. It's called St. Patrick's Day Sorry. And
soiree.
Soiree. Okay, so he sounds right up your alley. Angels and Demons, ladies and gentlemen. But again, you've had some tough luck lately. And what's next then for you?
Well, as you can see, our next show is entitled Godrick Sandwell's St. Patrick's Day Soiree. And, well, as you pointed out, I've had a little bit of tougher luck of recent. And, well, I'm thinking maybe this weekend coming up with my 2 shows down in Tennessee will be just a ticket to turn that around. But I'm thinking for the Express faithful, I'm thinking a partay might be just the ticket to get back on the way to getting my championships back from these new era ne'er-do-wells.
And
But
you want gold, and you've been without gold for a while, and this could be an opportunity for you to get some gold.
indeed, and I'm not talking about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
No, we're not talking about that. I don't think you want that gold. I think you want championship gold.
You are correct indeed. I haven't had a championship for quite some time, and well, this year that needs to change. Whether it be the tag team championships, should I get another opportunity? Whether it be the Three Rivers Championship, should I get another opportunity at it? Should it be the Express Heavyweight Championship? Should I get an opportunity at that? I want some gold around this way and in the step.
I asked you a few months back about the Three Rivers Championship getting it back, but you weren't as, let's say, enthusiastic about that. So what leaves me to think that it's either the tag team or the World Heavyweight Championship. And the World Heavyweight Championship is a big deal. And I mean, what a way to change your fortunes. What a way to have a pot of gold and a pot of luck to change your fortunes. I mean, these last few weeks, you lose back-to-back matches, 3 straight matches you lose. And they were all in, unfortunately, the versions of the different companies that you were in, there was some sort of shenanigans or some outside reasons why you lost. But now you've got an opportunity to erase all of that and win some gold coming up.
Potentially. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure what I will be doing for our upcoming soiree, aside from perhaps dancing the night away. But until I find out, I'm just going to focus on that for right now. But as I said, should an opportunity come my way to put some gold around my waist and in the study, you better believe this gentleman will be taking that quite serious.
I have no doubt about that. I'm going to take this off the screen for me. I know we have some other current events to run into. Speaking of the matches this coming weekend, you're going to be a part of, but I know you've had a tough time, Godrick, of late, losing match after match, not having gold lately, but I want to do something a little different for you, because obviously it's certainly been a struggle of late, but I got something that maybe will reverse your fortunes a little bit. Maybe it'll get you going to where you'll get some championship gold sooner rather than later, whether it's the Three Rivers Championship, the Tag Team Championship, even the Express Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. So if you'll allow me this time to share my screen, and since I know I'm not putting up a match or two, this screen I know is going to be 100%, where there's going to be no issues of any sorts. So if you allow me to share my screen, I got a surprise for you. Let's just say maybe it'll help you go into maybe winning some gold or maybe getting some more, let's say, pots of luck, you might want to say, just in time for St. Patty's Day, and especially for the show that Wrestling Express has to offer, Godrick Sandwell's St. Patrick's Soiree, coming up on March the 15th.
Please do.
Well, I'm going to do it because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the Brightest Lights, the biggest stage, congratulations. You were the 109th member of the Sportsman Radio Hall of Fame. You're the newest member of the Hall of Fame. Congratulations on this date, February the 24th. You got my John Hancock. You got the logo of Sportswire Radio. I will give this to you. I could have put the gentleman of Exquisite caliber, but I figured it'd be so long of a thing. I just put Godrick Sandwell, and Wrestling Express pretty much did the same thing. So congratulations. This will be yours when we're off the air. And thank you for all you do for our sport. Thank you for everything that you do inside the ring. And I definitely believe that this next few weeks will lead you into some better luck and maybe even some gold on March the 15th. But in the meantime, you got this for us. And congratulations on being the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, sir.
Man, now I really want to put on some good music and dance the night away. That is an honor by itself.
It's a Monday night, unfortunately. I don't really know how much dancing you're doing on a Monday night. Now, on a Friday or a Saturday, yeah, I'm sure you're dancing until 3, 4 in the morning, but it's a Monday night, and it's kind of meh. It's a Monday night. That's kind of how I kind of think of a Monday night. But nevertheless, you can do what you want with this. I'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir. It is a tremendous honor. I thank you. Thank you very kindly.
Well, you got it. And Zilla did want to say hello to Comatose. Yes, that was Jack Vaughn and Dalton McKenzie. And Ed wanted you to fucking run, but I don't think there was anything you could do. That was Jay's car.
That's probably good advice.
Yeah, in this case, it was you and Jay's car were having an exchange of words, and you got distracted, and that's the case. Yes, that was Pretty Boy Smooth from the NWA. Yes, that was Pretty Boy Smooth. Yep, that's him. Yeah, well, some big names there in that match. They had some really big names. I mean, that was really big names to work with. I know Pretty Boy, you know a bit, but I mean, some big names there you worked with. I guess if that's a consolation prize, I don't know if that is, but
as I said before, it really was a tremendous honor to meet Jack Vaughn face to face. That's something I never ever thought I would do in my career.
I mean, he's really figuratively and literally massive. Figuratively and literally. Let me repeat. Figuratively and literally massive.
Indeed. And again, it was a tremendous honor to meet him. I just wish the circumstances were a little bit more amicable. But
well, maybe there'll be a next time. Who knows?
Well, if I would get the opportunity to have Jack Vaughn one-on-one with yours truly, well, I say get your tickets, your hors d'oeuvres, and you better get them right now because tickets will sell fast.
I think they would definitely sell out. But I do know that you've got some other matches, which we kind of led into, that may have sold out already. And I want to talk about Resolution and Warpath Wrestling. So let me put those up on the screen. I have the first poster. You'll talk to me about the second one in a minute, but let's put that up and tell us what to expect. You're a very busy man. You're going back to Tennessee and quite a travel. Maybe you're getting ready to leave there today. I don't know. But talk to me about Resolute Wrestling coming up here this Friday. Doors are open at 6:30. Bell time 7 o'clock. And general admission $10. Front row $12. And you're back here. And what can we expect, sir?
Well, as for yours truly, I know what I'm expecting, and I know exactly who it is that I'm looking for. There was a ruffian down there that, from what I've understand, in my absence, he's been running a little bit more roughshod without yours truly to keep him somewhat in check.
Well, I think you got some unfinished business with Thomas Cage.
That would be the one. That would be the one.
You won a match with Thomas Cage most recently. That if the referee saw what was taking place, I mean, we might be still having that match, or you might have won that one.
Potentially, unfortunately, the situation is what it is, and something, that's all right. That just means that me and Thomas Cage were 1-1. And if he really wants to run around, if he really wants to hurt some of my friends, if he really wants to tune up my shoulder, which is actually perfectly fine, he can hurt me all he wants because I'm just going to come back again and again and again and again until I get answers as to what is going through his head. But
well, I'm going to put it back. I'm going to put the footage up here because now I have the footage. As you can see, I was getting the footage there. And I mean, I could see why you're very angry with him. I mean, I could really see why you're angry.
Again, I don't know what got into him. He used to be a really good friend.
Yeah, we spoke about this the last time you were here.
Yeah, this particular last time. Yeah, this is when he decided to turn his back on everybody. He's resorting to hurting his fellow competitors. He's doing things that I thought.
Just look at that there, though. Look at that Godrick Sandwell. I mean, boy, that's some demons there. That's not angel. That's demon-like.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And if Mr. Cage really wants to stoop to that level, if he wants to go that far just to get a pinfall victory over me, which I suppose I can't really blame him, because last time I remember, me and him, we think on kind of something of a similar wavelength. But this drastic turn, this whatever got into him.
I'll tell you what. I watched 3 matches here. We fast forwarded to this one in the interest of time, but I mean, this is the most upset you are of the 3 matches. Understandably so, sir.
I do appreciate that. I just really wish I knew what happened to him, what was said to him, what happened to him that I don't know about that caused all this. I just would love to know, because I said it earlier to him in the match. Excuse me.
I understand. You're obviously, heated about what took place here. Understandably so.
Obviously, I'm a man of the world. I've traveled. I've been up and down the roads just like he has. He's been to places I haven't. I've been to places he hasn't. But he's always maintained at least something of a level of honor, of decorum, of just being a genuine human being. What happened to him? What twisted him to that point? And I asked him earlier in the match, what was it that twisted him so? Because maybe I've been there too. But nothing.
Maybe it's just he doesn't want you in Resolute Wrestling, maybe.
Well, if that's the case, then he can tell me himself. He doesn't have to go do whatever it is that he's doing. From what I understand, especially of recently, he's gotten himself a few new cohorts, shall we say, and I know they're a little bit more on the more nefarious sort as well, much similar to that Jace Carr.
Well, Jace Carr is just somebody that you're saying explicitives we can't repeat on here about Jace Carr, understandably so, but just to see this shocking outcome, definitely you've got revenge on your mind. You've with Resolute want another match with him. I have no doubt here this Friday.
Want is not the word for this. I don't want a match. I don't even need a match with Thomas Cage, because it goes worse than that. Mm-hmm. It's a place a gentleman does not prefer to go, especially not anymore. I've preferred to think that I evolved past this point, but there are some people who just can find a way to get inside your head, to drag you back down to depths much similar to the Inferno and to the Malabulges themselves. But if that's the depths that Mr. Cage wants to sink to, then this gentleman is happy to oblige him. And I'm trying my best to stay as in my head as I can, and I do apologize. I don't like getting worked up like this. I understand
this being shooken up with this match to go as far as you went, and the competition and everything you went through, and the back and forth with you and Thomas Cage, to have it go the way it did. I I most certainly understand why.
Well, he will always be a game competitor in my eyes. I will never, ever take that away from him. He is called the perfect weapon for a reason. And am I a perfect gentleman?
Well,
No.
he used the ropes is certainly a perfect weapon, unfortunately, at your expense.
Well, again, do I blame him for such a thing? No. But would I have gone that route personally? Not if I can avoid it. But
Understandably so, I could see this is a different Godrick Sandwell tonight. You've certainly went through a lot in previous episodes with injuries. You've dealt with other adversities, or you've been on highs, but tonight you've just run through the gauntlet here. You had a match with a big rig, and you were basically dealing with a truck driver. You had Jack Vaughn to contend with and Dalton McKenzie, and then you had Thomas Cage, and that's not counting places where you've been in law wrestling and coming up with Warpath Wrestling this Saturday. I mean, Pro Wrestling
Mhm.
Cheap Shots was this past weekend. I mean, that's not counting where you've been and what you've been doing there as well.
As I said, I don't prefer to get worked up like this as best as I can, but there are some times that, well, there's just nothing you can do. Sometimes, especially with an old associate, an old friend, somebody that I truly looked up to some extent.
Yeah, we talked about it here. Your last appearance on Sportswire, that there was
Mhm.
a history there was a mutual respect, and it's all thrown out the window now. Gone.
And
Gone.
that it really bothers me because if this was a case that he had always been like this, there was no common line between us, that would have been one thing. But for him to take all of his honor, all of his respect, all of his decorum, however he chose to be, and just sayonara with it.
What would you want
All
to
I want
say
to
to him? What would you, to sum it all up? What would you want to say to him about just your emotions right now?
There's really not much I can say that I haven't said already. But if I have to sum it up quite simply, the only thing I want to know, the only thing that I'm sure Resolute, their faithful wants to know, the only thing that I'm sure that the Warpath Pro Wrestling faithful wants to know, especially me, just why? What is going on? What is going through your head? What did what demon, what Cambion, whatever, what got in his head that twisted him like this?
I don't know. It's a great question. I wish I had the answer. I would have certainly asked Thomas Cage, but I don't have him here, and I've got you here, and I can only hope that it gets sorted out, and it gets sorted out this Friday.
Me too. Me too. As far as I know, it's me and him for our third match.
The rubber match.
Indeed, this Friday. Now, what's going to happen? I have no idea. I really don't. Nothing has been disclosed to me. Nothing has been told to me. Nothing. I'm going into this. I know who I'm facing. I know exactly what it is that I want to do. But how am I going to get there? I have no idea. I really
We're
don't.
gonna have to find out. I mean, we're gonna have to go to Resolute Wrestling's social media pages on Facebook and elsewhere to find out. And I mean, Cato's in the house, who said he's going to be debuting at X Brand Wrestling soon, which X Brand is very well known. Justin Valencia. I have a friend in the UK that might be going there, and so what we'll have to see. But Warpath Wrestling, we have that also Saturday coming up, right?
That's correct. As far as Warpath goes, I don't know what to expect there at all.
Well, you got a tough back-to-back here coming up. You got a roller coaster of emotions here coming up, Godrick.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And it's going to be my job for the next couple of days to try to sort through it. And honestly, that was as great of a start to getting me back on an even keel as I could ever ask for. Is being an honorary Hall of Famer. I thank you.
You're
I
in the
really
Hall of Fame. It's just an honor. Remember, you're in the Hall of Fame. It's the same Hall of Fame that Cato's in right now. Zilla's in it. I mean, we've got Savio Vega in it. Yeah, that's a pretty big one. We have a guy who played in the NCAA Final Four, the head coach of the United States men's amputee soccer team. So we've got some really big names on there, and I think you definitely deserve to be there. And maybe this will be the thing that gets you what you need in getting big wins and maybe settle some scores with the likes of Thomas Cage coming up this Friday and anything else that may lead your way,
Yeah. Again, it is appreciated more than you know.
Well, I mean, we're going to certainly find out. And again, Godrick Sandwell will be in action coming up a couple different times. You're going to see him Friday, Saturday, Resolute Warpath Wrestling, March 15th. He's got his own show named after him, practically. Godrick Sandwell, St. Patrick's Soiree. That's going to take place at Wrestling Express on March 15th. And that's going to be in McKeesport, 2125 Beacon Street. I always have that memorized because Max Hammer always goes, 2125 Beacon Street. He always goes, 2125 Beacon Street. I always hear that promo the way he says it. I'm like, all right, I remembered it. 2125 Beacon Street. Yeah, definitely be there for that. The doors open at 6:30. It'll be 7 o'clock is when bell time. Also, this Friday is the same time, same bat channel. So check out all of that. Is there anything else you want to talk about or promote before I get to closing thoughts? Anything else that you want to get off your chest? I mean, like we said, it was a tough last few weeks, but maybe this will be the spark of you getting back on track and getting to where you need to be and whatever else that you need to have the 2025 that you deserve to have.
Well, I guess the only thing I really can say involving all of this is Thomas Cage. I know you've probably stayed radio silent. I know you've gone dark. I don't know what happened to you. And if you're not going to talk to me, if you're not going to talk to the management, if you're not going to talk to the faithful, if you really don't want to talk to me, something, that's all right. We can settle this the way men should. I just really wish it didn't have to come to this, but if that's what you want, then so be it. As far as Express Wrestling goes, yeah, my luck hasn't exactly been on my side of recent.
Since you lost that Three Rivers Championship.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a tough sled, shall we say? But I'm thinking since I'll be hosting the St. Patrick's Day soiree, maybe the luck of the Irish will smile upon me and maybe get back on the winning track. Or if nothing else, maybe the Ides of March could help me out.
Well, that sounds both like it could be potential things, and that would definitely be things that we'll hope for you. It's coming up. So listen, at the end of the day, here's the positives. The positives are yes, was it a tough last month? Yes, but you've got almost 3 matches in the span of 2 weeks that could get you back to where you need to be. So you got back-to-backs here coming. You have an opportunity to settle a score with now a new rival. You've got the following night at Warpath. And you've got, again, March 15th, where you have a show named after you. So, forget about what happened the last month and make this part where you need to be to chart the course you want. And it'll lead you back to where you need to be, which was with gold around your shoulders.
I do concur with such sentiment. It's a good thing I'm in the study right now, and I know you can't see it on the camera, but trust me.
Actually, okay, no, I wouldn't be able to see it. And I tried another way; it wouldn't work.
No, that's quite all right. All I was trying to get at is, yeah, I studied the tape. Yeah, I've had to experience those crippling losses a little bit, but
which I give you credit for still studying the tape. As I said at the beginning of the show, I would have just forgot about it, put it in the back of my head, and just never thought of it again. At least you heads on, we're watching it, looking at the tape, figuring out what to do and what not to do, and try to learn from that. So I give you that much, sir.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you're not seeing on the camera right now. I have quite a few notes that I've been taking on maybe being better prepared to deal with such nefarious ne'er-do-wells in the near future. Because
well,
a gentleman does prefer to learn from his mistakes.
We're gonna find out. I do want to say hello to a few people. The Tribal Cheese is here at 3:15 in the morning. Good morning, I suppose. He says good evening. I guess it's good morning for you. Maybe it is evening where you are. 3:15. You're just past the witching hours. They always say between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning is the witching hours, but it's 3:15, so technically it's not. Ed Pizzo wants a duel on his website, dually.com, dually.net. And they're working on some things, and he's working with some of the guys that come on the platform. So I don't know if I don't know if Godrick Sandwell wants to duel Thomas Cage. I think he wants to just beat the tar out of him. I don't think he wants to duel him on Dually. I think he just wants to beat him up figuratively and literally. But who knows? Zilla says hello to everybody. But yeah, we've definitely run the gauntlet. I'm sure when we do this again next month, there'll be further to talk about. Hopefully, we'll get back on track. Maybe we'll have some pro wrestling cheap shots to talk about. Also, we have law, maybe that to talk about. So we have some other places that you're going to. So you're definitely putting those miles on the car. Hopefully, the gas prices don't hurt you too much. And we'll see. Yeah. The inflation's not a thing I'm going to talk about here on this platform. But I'm going to pass the baton to you, sir. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And the floor is yours, really.
Thank you, kind sir. As I said, there's really not much else I can say at this particular moment. But for those of you who do want to keep up with me, the easiest way to find me is going to be on Facebook. I am the gentleman of exquisite caliber, Godrick Sandwell.
Sadly, I can't put it up on Facebook because I'm locked out of Facebook on my laptop. Otherwise, I would have put it up. But yeah,
I still don't understand that. But
goofy. 2 years ago, it was like the goofiest thing. 2 years ago, I don't know. I was sharing a bunch of posts on my Facebook through my laptop, and like they locked me out of it. But on my phone, I'm fine on Facebook. I used to be able to stream on Facebook. No problem. The Tribal Cheese remembers. I mean, I would get like 300-400 views easy on all my streams on Facebook without even blinking an eye. I would get like, I had one stream out there with like 4,000 views. I had a boxer, and it was like a black. It was not Arv Mitsu. It was Mark the Tank Ellens, and it was from Portsmouth, which is a almost like a fishing town in the UK. The Tribal Cheese definitely knows what I'm talking about, Portsmouth, and it was great. It was like I would get people left and right, comment after comment, whereas YouTube, sometimes it depends on if people are awake, but yeah, I don't know. I can't figure it out to this day, but I'll take what I can get. But yeah, I would. That's what I'm saying. I would put your Facebook up, but unfortunately, I don't. I can't view it on my laptop. So, but
no, that's quite all right. That's one way to keep up with me. Another way to keep up with me, and I know I'm a little bit lighter on this because I'm still trying to figure out a lot of this technology stuff. I'm also.
I can put the YouTube up. Yeah, while you talk about that, go ahead.
Yeah. If you want to keep up with a couple of my other shenanigans, shall we say, please feel free to look up Godrick Sandwell on YouTube if you would be so inclined.
You know what? That I can put up right now because I do have a few new people that have joined the chat. There's Godrick's YouTube page. You can actually put that up. We got this. Boom. Let's put this up here. Give you another sub. My friend is here. How you doing? I haven't seen her in a while. Our lovely friend. Nice to see you again. Godrick is on YouTube. You got a couple different things here coming up. You have a promo, right? Promo here for Resolute. Well, we'll keep the promo up. I want to see it. You're up.
Oh, I remember this one quite well.
Thomas Kite! For the Resolute faithful, let me keep this a little bit more simple than I ordinarily do. Because the fact is, Thomas Cage, Godrick Sandwell, 1-1. So we got to do this one more time. We have to stoop to your level. You want to become honorless. You want to become without truth. And why? You still haven't told me. You still haven't told anybody. But you know what? That's fine. Because the last time I was down there, yeah, you tuned up my shoulder, but good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that. They call you the perfect weapon for a very good reason. But there's a reason I'm called the gentleman of exquisite caliber, because you don't know what to expect from me. So you know what? If we have to do this one more time, if we have to do this for the honor of the Resolute faithful, if we have to do this for the honor of the gallantry, then you know what, Mr. Cage? Have it your way. Because I'm ready to go. My shoulder is ready to go. So bring all your pomp. Bring all your circumstance. Bring whatever you want. Bring whoever you want. Because Friday, February 28th, at 144 Spot Highway in Clarksville, Tennessee, a gentleman is more irate. A gentleman is ready for you. I hope that you are ready for me.
Strong words. And then we have Warpath. We'll put Warpath here as well. And this one's a little different.
It was a different day. I was in a little bit more of a controlled mood.
Well, you have history with Thomas. You can see why.
Right before I decided to jump into Purgatorio, ladies and gentlemen of the
Which reminds me, I've got some cherubs that I need to say hi to.
Gentlemen of exquisite caliber, Godrick Sandwell, and I'm pleased to inform you that March 1st marked the day because this gentleman is returning to Pikeville, Tennessee. Now, what exactly is he up to this time? Can't really say for certain, but I can promise you this. Whether it is an honorless dog or two, or whether it is a cherished colleague or two, it makes no difference because the promise is this, and it's so succinct, anybody can understand this because the fact is, Godrick Sandwell is returning to Warpath. So get your tickets now, get some hors d'oeuvres, and a preferred beverage because this favorite devil in a blue coat is on his way. See you guys very, very soon.
And congratulations. You got 2 new subscribers on YouTube, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. You are too kind.
We got 2 more, so there you go. So, we hung in there long enough, and that set the tables for us and what to expect this weekend. Check out some other content. You can see past matches, some other promos, and we'll be talking about this very soon with Godrick and be a part of his gallantry and find out why he is the gentleman of exquisite caliber and also the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And there you go. Congratulations, sir. Let's see what happens this weekend. We'll be watching the Thomas Cage match closely. We'll see what happens in Warpath and certainly March 15th on your own show. And congratulations on this. Thank you for all that you do for our sport. And looking forward to next time.
It is an honor and a pleasure, Reverend, as always.
All right. That was the gentleman of exquisite caliber, Godrick Sandwell, who sets the tables for us on what to expect this coming Friday and Saturday. You'll see him for Resolute Wrestling. Thomas Cage is certainly understandably on his mind. You'll also see him the next night at Warpath Wrestling. Then 2 weeks from Saturday, you'll see him at Wrestling Express. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. And if you're on Sportswire Radio, I'll be back here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time with yesterday's guest who kind of bum rushed his show with a guy, Zach Clark, that he had a lot of history with. And that's AJ Storm. And he'll tell us why he's been banished time and time again in different places. But he'll be here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So definitely tune in for that one and hit the sub button for us. And Eddie definitely liked the show. He said it with an English accent. And I'll definitely forward Eddie your info, and we'll see what happens there. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, also for your support of tuning into the interview with King's X bassist and frontman Doug Pinnick. It's basically got like 300 plus views already. So it continues to climb up the charts. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to blabbermouth.net for sharing. Stay tuned for more very soon here in the world of hard rock and heavy metal coverage. But thank everybody for tuning in, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one Global Radio Station, that is Sportzwire Radio, where all wrestling matters and all King's X matters. I'll see you at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow with the one and only AJ Storm. Until then,